Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Dhanva-
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Um, your audio is fine, but video, we have not seen it as yet. So,
Okay, Prabhu, I'll sort it out. I'm just trying to get my slides on, and then I will do the video.
okay, that's fine, Mataji.
Thank you.
So we can see the contents of your
Okay, thank you,
display.
Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Trying to video. Just bear with me. I'm looking for the video button. I can't find it. Yeah. I've got the slides on, but now I've lost the part where I can put video or to mute or unmute it. I don't know why. Oh, good. Here we go.
Yes, everything is all right. But if you stop sharing, then probably your picture will come on the screen. Hare Krishna.
Now that's okay, Prabhu. We'll do some slides today if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So you can start when you are ready, Mataji.
Okay, we can start now. We'll start reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, and then we will do our Jaya Radha Madhava. Yeah. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We'll start reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, Volume 2, Chapter 2, which is Developing Mayapur. Prabhupada felt affection and deep gratitude for those devotees dedicating their lives to the Mayapur project. One night he called Bhavananda to his room and began asking him about the devotees. Suddenly Prabhupada began crying. I know it is difficult for all you Western boys and girls, he said. You are so dedicated serving here in my mission. I know you cannot even get prasadam. When I think that you cannot even get milk and that you have given up your opulent life to come here and you do not complain, I am very much indebted to all of you. Bhavananda. The marble workers lived in some chatai houses right near the construction site. There was a hand pump just outside the building. And that's where we took our bath and where the workers got the water for the cement. Some distance off were two toilets, one for the men and one for the women. It was just two holes in the ground, and each ground surrounded by a chatai wall. The storms and the rain would come, and we would have to sludge through the mud in the fields to go to the toilets. There were snakes all over the place. It was wild. It was a construction site. No one lives on a construction site, but we did. Srila Prabhupada made us move in there. It was good for us. No bathrooms, nothing. Just open floors with concrete. I'm going to move on to the next slide. And, oh, I can't move on to the next slide. Yeah, that's better. Although the devotees endured the austerities of living at the Mayapur Center construction site, they sometimes felt it was too difficult. But Srila Prabhupada never considered it difficult, and he would encourage the devotees. Mayapur is so wonderful. You can live on the air and water alone. Bhavananda, we were able to face up to so many difficulties because we just took it as our order from Srila Prabhupada. There was no conception of ever leaving. What else would I do? This was my order. Take Mayapur. I am giving you Mayapur. Take it, develop it, and enjoy it. There was no question in our minds of going somewhere else. The surrounding grounds were rich fields, and to get to the temple building from the entrance of the property, a distance of more than 200 yards, devotees would have to walk on paths made by ridges of earth that separated one rice field from another. The kitchen, which was made of tarpaulin and bamboo, was located near the entrance to the property. So today we're looking at how dedicated the devotees were to Srila Prabhupada, where the instruction was everything to them. So irrespective of the difficulties that they were going through, they still upheld the instruction that they had gotten from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so we'll sing Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Shodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare. We can do our pranams together. Om Jnanatimirandhyasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastha Bhutale Srimati Janananda Goswami Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristha Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschita Deshatarine. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 25, Text 6. So first, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'll just read the text. I'm not sure whether there's a meter for it. Sa eva Bhagavan Ananto Nanta Gunar Nava Adi Deva Upasamrita Marsa Rosa Vego Lokanam Svastaye Aste. Sa eva Bhagavan Ananto Nanta Gunar Nava Adi Deva Upasamrita Marsa Rosa Vego Lokanam Svastaya Aste. Sa eva Bhagavan Ananto Nanta Gunar Nava Adi Deva Upasamrit Amarsa Rosa Vego Lokanam Svastaye Aste. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, would anyone like to recite this shlok?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am reciting.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Shaiva Bhagavan Ananta Gunarnava Adidevo Upasama Rita Amarsha Rosho Bego Lokanam Shastaya Aste. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Saiva Bhagavan Ananta Gunarnava Adi Devo Upasama Rita Marsha Rosha Bego Lokanam Swastaya Aste. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Okay, so we'll move on to the synonyms. Would someone like to read the synonyms, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So that Eva, certainly, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ananta, Deva, Ananta Guna Arnava, the reservoir of unlimited transcendental qualities, Adi Deva, the original Lord, or non-different from the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Upasamarita, who has restrained, Amarsha, of his intolerance, Rosha, the wrath, Bega, the force, Lokanam, of all people on all planets. Swastaye, for the welfare, Aste remains. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. And would someone like to read the purport, please?
I'll try, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Anantadeva's main mission is to dissolve this material creation, but he checks his anger and intolerance. This material world is created to give the conditioned souls another chance to go back home, back to Godhead. But most of them do not take advantage of this facility. After the creation, they again exercise their old propensity for lording it over the material world. These activities of the conditioned souls anger Anantadeva, and he desires to destroy the entire material world. Yet, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is kind towards us and he checks his anger and intolerance. Only at certain times does he express his anger and destroy the material world. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So we on this chapter here, which is a glorious chapter, right? It has only 15 texts in it, and it is titled Glories of Lord Ananta. So we know Lord Ananta is also known as Sankarshan, and he is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the evidence that we have is in Bhagavad Gita in 10:29, Lord Krishna says, Anantas chasmi naganam. And the translation of the many hooded nagas, I am Ananta. And in Srimad Bhagavatam 11:16-19, Nagadranam Anantoham, and the translation, among the best of snakes, I am Anantadev. So we can see how Lord Ananta is non-different from the personality of Godhead. Now, the name Ananta means unlimited. He's got unlimited strength. He's got unlimited spiritual qualities. And nobody can fully describe him, even if they had countless mouths. And now we've just finished off with text 2. And in text 2, Sukadeva Goswami was saying how that this great universe, right, is situated on one of Lord Ananta's thousands of hoods. And Earth, our universe, which is within this Earth, which is within the universe, is just like a white mustard seed on one of those hoods. So it is infinitesimal compared to the hood of Lord Ananta. So this what gives us the idea of how vast Lord Ananta is. And the universe, we think that, whoa, Earth is so big. But the universe itself has all space, time, matter, energy. And it includes billions of other galaxies, stars, and planets. And Earth is just a small part of it. So even the greatest scientists cannot fathom the greatness and the vastness of this universe. And then what to speak of the innumerable universes. Scientists haven't even gotten to all of those things. Even Einstein had said, the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know, right? So in Prabhupada Memories, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami shared a conversation between himself and Srila Prabhupada. He said that in the early days, he was the temple commander in the La Cienega temple in Los Angeles. And one day Prabhupada had called him and asked him to get the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then on that original Bhagavatam, there was the picture of the spiritual sky on that cover. And Srila Prabhupada had said, do you see the spiritual sky? It's very big. You can't even fathom how big this is. And 3/4 of Krishna's creation is the spiritual sky. And 1/4 is this material creation. And the material creation has innumerable universes. And one universe is so big that the scientists cannot measure it. And then Srila Prabhupada continued, we on a planet, on one planet in one of those universes, out of the innumerable universes, which constitute 1/4 of the creation. So this one planet Earth is one of the smaller planets in this universe. And on this planet, there's 7 continents. And on one of these continents is North America. And there is a great city known as Los Angeles. And in that Los Angeles, there's a long boulevard called La Cienega. And on that La Cienega boulevard, there's a church building, which is now a Hare Krishna temple. And in that one Hare Krishna temple, there is one Tamal Krishna. And he thinks that is very important. And His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami, as he was saying this, he laughs because he said he felt so small. So I'm just giving this, relating this conversation to show how Srila Prabhupada was emphasizing the greatness of the creation and how we are so insignificant in all of this. But still, people in general are trying to show how great they are. They're trying so much to endeavor to get more and more, trying so much to endeavor to enjoy. But in the process, a lot of them are harming others, as we can see with the wars today. It's all about what I want. It's the power that I want. Now, Lord Ananta is very great, right? We've looked at the vastness of his greatness. we still will never be able to fully understand it. But in that greatness, he is still a great servitor of Lord Krishna. He assists Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord, in his unlimited expansions by performing an unlimited variety of services. And in C.C. Adi, in 5.120, it is said that Ananta Shesh is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but service to Lord Krishna. And in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, in Adi Kanda 1146, although he is your transcendental personal expansion, he accepted your service in the form of your residence, bed, sitting place, slippers, garments, pillow, and umbrella. So we can see how, although Lord Ananta is transcendental, he's powerful, he's so glorious, but still, he is always serving the Lord, right? And he is showing us by example that the purpose of our lives is to serve the Supreme Lord. We are these infinitesimal beings on this earth, right? We have to be able to serve the Lord. If he is doing it, why aren't we doing it? I know a lot of you are doing it. I'm just saying this for argument's sake. So in this way, when we serve the Lord, we can develop that Krishna prem and we can go back to Godhead. But sadly, in this material world, the focus is generally on self-gratification, as I said earlier, trying to get more, trying to enjoy more. Now, in today's purport, we had read that this material world is created to give the conditioned souls another chance to go back home, back to Godhead. But most of them do not take this advantage of this facility. And after the creation, they again exercise their old propensity for lording it over the material world. So let's look at this a little bit deeper, right? It's accepted that we were rebellious souls and that we chose to enjoy separate to Lord Krishna. And because of that, we are in this material world. It was out of his causeless mercy that the Lord gave us this material world to enjoy. And in Srimad Bhagavatam in 11.13.31, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada would have written, since this world is the Lord's creation, one cannot deny that its existence is also real. Yet the living entity who identifies the creation of this world as belonging to himself is certainly in illusion. And the example that is given is that of a rabbit, right? A rabbit with horns. So the example may be given that horns are real and rabbits are real. But if one imagines a rabbit's horns, that is certainly illusion. Though a rabbit's horns may occur in a dream. So similarly, the living entity dreams of a permanent relationship within the material world. One may dream that he's feasting on sumptuous sweet rice prepared with milk and sugar. But there's no actual nutritional value in the dream of royal feasting. So that's interesting, a royal feasting, trying so much, thinking that we enjoy. And then in Srimad Bhagavatam in 11.13.8, this is very nice what Uddhava says. It's in the translations. So Sri Uddhava said, my dear Krishna, generally human beings know that material life brings great future unhappiness, but still they try to enjoy material life. My dear Lord, how can one in knowledge act just like a dog, an ass, or a goat? Makes us look so low in this world, right? So the conditioned soul is illusioned, thinking that there's permanent enjoyment in this world. But in reality, this real self, the soul, is transcendental and part and parcel of Lord Krishna. But the soul being encaged in the material body is illusion, and it is in an unnatural environment. So if one chooses to continue to enjoy separately from Krishna, then certainly he's going to remain in this material world. Krishna is very kind. He doesn't take away our free will. He allows us to stay in this world birth after birth if we wish to stay here. And the conditioned soul will just make further and further plans to enjoy. And what is he doing? He's further getting entangled. And he sees himself as the center of all the activities and in all the dealings that he is involved in. And then in Srimad Bhagavatam, in 11:13:29, in the purport, it is said, although the living entity desires blissful life, eternity, and knowledge, he adopts procedures that actually cover over his eternal blissful nature and give him exactly the opposite effect. The living entity does not want death and suffering, but these are actually the results of material existence, right? We can't escape it. So all the conditioned soul is doing is just further entangling himself in Maya. When one turns to Maya, one moves further and further away from Krishna. And this is revealed by Srila Vyasadeva. Now we know that Srila Vyasadeva is no ordinary person. He is the literary incarnation of Lord Krishna. And he was empowered by his guru. And his guru is Narad Muni. So with that empowerment, he was able to enter into a deep trance. He went into deep meditation. And what did he see? Does anyone know what he saw in that deep meditation?
He saw the Lord, and he saw the Maya emanating from the Lord, and how he also saw the living being, how they are under illusion, under the influence of Maya.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice. So yes, he saw the perfect Supreme Being. And then he saw that Maya was far removed from the Lord. This means that Maya was away. And then he also saw the diseased, conditioned souls. And he saw the cause of the disease, right? This material disease. And in Srimad Bhagavatam in 176, he said he specifically observed the unwanted miseries of the conditioned souls who are bewildered by the external energy. So that external energy we know is Maya. So Srila Vyasadeva therefore first diagnoses this actual disease of the conditioned souls, and that is being illusioned by Maya. So this material disease. So conditioned souls are inflicted with this material disease. Right. So I'll tell you another story that came from Prabhupada's memories, and this was by Atma Tattva Prabhu, and he shared how he had an infection in his mouth, and because of the pain that he had, he couldn't brush his teeth, right? He was just gargling with hot water and salt. So when he was taking initiation, he was quite close to Srila Prabhupada, and he was then giving his 4 regulative principles. And Srila Prabhupada looked at him and said, why are you not cleaning your teeth properly? Because obviously, Srila Prabhupada could get a smell that wasn't pleasant. And then Prabhu had said, infection. And Srila Prabhupada said, infection. And then he turned around, he took the japa mala from another devotee who was passing the beads, and he gave it to Prabhu, and he said, chant 16 rounds. So Prabhu says it was as if this was the prescription for the infection. So on a larger scale, we see that we, in this conditioned state, in material life, we are infected, materially infected. And if there's an infection, we need a cure, right? So in his vision, Srila Vyasadeva had also seen the remedial measure for the conditioned souls. And what is that remedial measure or the cure? It is devotional service. So also in Srimad Bhagavatam in 175 in the purport, it says the Lord doesn't desire that a living being be illusioned by external energy. So our Lord is very merciful. He doesn't want us to be illusioned here. Remember, it's our free will that has put us here. A lot of people blame the Lord for what is going on. But no, it's not the Lord. It's our free will that is keeping us here. And the external energy, Maya, knows that the Lord doesn't want us to be here. But still, she accepts a thankless task of keeping us here under illusion. So why does she accept that task? Why does she keep us under illusion here? What is it? What do we have to undergo? Anyone? Right, we are here to rectify ourselves. So we have to undergo some reformation. So also in from Srimad Bhagavatam in 175, it's explained how an affectionate father, he doesn't want his children to be chastised by another agent, right? But yet he will put his disobedient children under the custody of a severe man just to bring them to order, just so that they would behave nicely. So this is what Maya is doing for us in this material world. But still, the all-affectionate Almighty Father, at the same time, wants us to be relieved from this Maya. He wants us to be free from the clutches of Maya. And the analogy is used is that of a king. He will put his disobedient citizens in prison, but sometimes that same king will go and he will visit the prisoners there. And he'll personally plead to them, you know, to reform, to rectify themselves so that they can be set free. And similarly, the Lord comes. The Lord has come as Krishna, giving us so much, right? Still people wouldn't listen. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has set the example of what a devotee should be like. So in our times now, we have Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra to guide us out of this material world. And surrendering to Guru and Krishna is the remedial measure or the cure for us to get free from the clutches of Maya. And there's numerous opportunities to be freed from the clutches of Maya, right? Even Ravan was given those opportunities, right? We know that Ravan had 10 heads when he was there fighting with Lord Ram. And Lord Ram could have killed him instantly, but Lord Ram went for each head. Why did he go for each head? What's the symbolism of it? What was Lord Ram wanting? Anyone? So each of those heads represent the anathas. You know, like we have lust, anger, greed, illusion, the pride, envy, and so on, right? And Ravan was so full of ego. And each time a head was cut off, Lord Ram was hoping that maybe this Ravan will come to some realization and surrender to him. But we know that Ravan didn't do that, right? So, and eventually Ravan was killed by Lord Ram. So we can see how Lord Ram was giving Ravan so many opportunities, even though Ravan had caused so many heinous sins, right? But still Lord Ram was waiting for Ravan's heart to be transformed and to surrender to him. And the Lord is so merciful, he will still accept such a sinful person. So Srila Prabhupada says that he is connected to Krishna. And he says that he knows that Krishna has taken so much of trouble to help him. And that he is our ever-loving Lord. So why would we want to make him angry? So this anger that the Lord subdues, that we've read in the purport today, is not the material anger that we display, but rather his anger is transcendental. Ultimately, it's because of his love for us. He's waiting for us to return to him. But generally, people are too busy trying to enjoy in this world and not taking advantage of the opportunities to go back home, back to Godhead. But the big question is, how can the conditioned mentality be transformed from material to spiritual? So in other words, what does the conditioned soul have to do to stop being the center of everything and to allow Lord Krishna to be the center of his life? How can we get free of the clutches of Maya? So in order to do this, we have to transform our perspective from enjoying this materialism in this world. Instead, we can rectify our lives and become Krishna conscious and go back home, back to Godhead. And this will be very pleasing to Lord Ananta. The Lord is merciful. He doesn't want us to be miserable in this world. He wants us to come back home, back to Godhead. He is actually waiting more eagerly for us to come than we are to go. So now what can we do to go? This is very nicely explained in the book, Journey of Self-Discovery by His Grace Prem Nidhi Prabhu. So he says in that book that reviving our spiritual consciousness is similar to healing from an illness. So now we're going to look at 3 A's. Accept that I am sick and need healing. And 2, approach a good hospital. And 3, ask an expert doctor. So let's look at the first one. Accepting that I am sick and I need healing, right? So first of all, we got to accept this. We need help. We need to be cured from the material disease. So we value things to the extent that we need them. Like a hungry person is going to have great value for food. A thirsty person is going to have great value for water. A dying man is going to crave for life-saving medicines. Similarly, when we treasure our eternal love and permanent happiness, then we can only open our hearts to spiritual healing. We can open our hearts to being Krishna conscious. So the question is, how desperate are we? So there's a nice story. A young man once went to his guru and he says, can you please help me to be God conscious? Right? He wants to know, can you please help me to realize God? So the guru looked at the man and then he took him to the river and they walked into the river until the water level was up to their necks. And then something very unexpected happened. The guru took the man's head and dunked it into the water and kept it there. And the man was gasping. He was struggling. He couldn't free himself from there. And just when he thought he was going to die, the guru set him free. The man was exhausted. He was stunned. What is going on? I've asked my guru a nice question. What is he trying to do to me? He looked at the guru and the guru was smiling. The guru said, when you have the same deep desire for God as you had for a single breath of air underwater, then come back to me and I will initiate you. So we need to fully and wholeheartedly surrender our free will to Guru and to Krishna, right? That is accepting that I need help. So the next one, approach a good hospital. So when we're sick, we want expert medical care. We want to go to a good hospital. We want good doctors. So similarly, for our spiritual sickness, we go to a temple or a Hare Krishna center because it has the specialized care for the spiritually ill. And in that center or temple, we come in contact with devotees. And we know devotees are very compassionate, right? They help us to progress on the spiritual path. So under their guidance, we engage in devotional service. And the temple also functions as an education center or a university because it teaches us about self-realization and Krishna consciousness. Now the third one, ask an expert doctor. Now, sometimes when people visit the hospital, sometimes they just want to look at the facilities, like they have a tour, or they will go there for treatment, so they will consult a doctor. So when we go to a temple, we're not just marveling at the architecture of the temple or the facilities that the temple offers, but we're looking at spiritual enlightenment from the gurus, from the senior devotees. And Lord Krishna stresses the importance of saintly association, like we see in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi Prani Patena Pariprastana Sevaya Upadaksyanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattva Darshanaha. And in the translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. And then also in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.23, one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than that of the Lord directly. And by one's doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. Right, so we can see, we can get the expert physician. And we know Srila Prabhupada is our expert physician. He's given us the medication in the form of his books as well. But it's for us to ingest this medication, so to speak, for our cure. So these books are not a concoction, but rather it's a message from Lord Krishna. The scriptures are considered as a love letter from Lord Krishna, a love letter to us, right? The Lord loves us all. And when we are separated from a loved one, we want to send them a love letter or a message. So this is what Lord Krishna is doing. He's feeling separation from us. And he sends us the love letter. And the basic message is that he is missing us and he wants us to come back home. So when we follow these 3 A's, bhakti is revived, and bhakti is actually the linking process to the Lord. Bhakti is very powerful. It gives us the maximum result in the shortest time. It's compared to $100 bill. When you look, or when you have $100 bill, you know that within it, there's 50, 20, and $10, right? Similarly, bhakti has the karma yoga's benefit, the jnana yoga's wisdom, and dhyana yoga's powers. But most important, this bhakti yoga takes us to the spiritual world, right? By the mercy of the Lord. So you would find in this slide here, I actually took it from the book Journey of Self-Discovery by His Grace Prem Nidhi Prabhu. So it's a nice diagram, right? So it's telling us here, if the yoga systems are a 100-story building, with karma yoga, we can climb to the 25th floor. With jnana yoga, we'll reach the 50th floor. And with dhyana yoga, we can go up to the 75th floor. But beyond that, we need the help of this bhakti yoga to reach the topmost floor. And the interesting thing is that we can enter into this express elevator of bhakti by the association of devotees, and we can enter at any stage. There's no prerequisites as to who can start bhakti and who should not be starting bhakti. We can all start the bhakti process at any stage. So this bhakti yoga elevator will take us quickly to that topmost floor, right? Like we see on this diagram. But the other yoga processes are like walking up a long staircase. It's slow, it's cumbersome, and it takes a lot of effort from us. Right, so it's going to take a very long time to reach there. Bhakti yoga takes us to Golaka Vrindavan very quickly. And it can happen in a moment, like we had seen with Maharaj Kadvanga. Just in a moment, he was able to go back home, back to Godhead. So in 8.28, the translation in Bhagavad Gita is, a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Okay. So we can see here on this ladder, right, different stages on the ladder, with Bhakti Yoga being the topmost. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a little story from the past time from Ramayana, and this is with the boatman Kevat. And what had happened one day was Sri Sitaram and Lakshman had reached the side of the river, of the Ganga river. And they had asked Kevat to take them to the other side of the river. And Kevat looked at Lord Ram, and he had already known that with the dust of his lotus feet, Lord Ram had transformed a stone into her Ahalya, the lady. And Kevat thought, oh no, if the Lord comes onto my boat is going to be transformed into a lady. I can't let that happen, because this is my livelihood. This is what I take people across the river with. And then he asked the Lord if he can wash his feet. And his idea was that if he washed the feet, he can wash that magic off. The dust will be washed off. So his boat will remain a boat and not be transformed into a lady. So Lord Ram smiled, and he consented for Kevat to wash his feet. And as Kevat washed the feet and drank that sacred water, he could feel his sins being washed away. He was being purified. So he let the Lord come on his boat. And when they reached the other side, Lord Ram offered Kevat Mother Sita's ring as a token of their thanks. And Kevat refused to take the ring. Right. He told Lord Ram, we are of the same profession, and people of the same profession don't pay each other. He said, you are a boatman as well. I am just taking people from one side of the river to the next. But you are taking souls across this vast ocean of material existence. So we can see how Kevat was refusing the ring, and we know how valuable that ring would have been. But he didn't want the wealth. He just wanted liberation from the cycle of birth and death. And Lord Ram was overwhelmed by his love. And he granted him this mukti, this liberation. So Kevat is teaching us to ask God for opportunities to serve him, rather than asking for material possessions which are temporary. So I just want to conclude now with a story from the Brihad Bhagavad Amrita by Sanatana Goswami. And you're all familiar with this, but it's a beautiful story. And I think hopefully it's going to sum up what we're talking about. So when Gopakumar reached Vrindavan, he could see in the distance that Lord Krishna was there, surrounded by the cows and the cowherd boys. And there was laughter and lovely talk and the sounds of the flute. It was all so pleasant. And then suddenly Lord Krishna saw Gopakumar, and he left the cows and the cowherd boys, and he ran towards Gopakumar in great hurry. And finally he reaches Gopakumar. Tears are flowing copiously from his eyes, and these tears are causing the ground to become muddy. There's so much of excitement, so much of love. And as he embraces Gopakumar, they both fall down in ecstasy. Krishna is expressing, his love for Gopakumar. And then he tells Gopakumar, I've been waiting for you for so long to return. How could you live so long without me? So on that touching note, I'll stop. Thank you so much, everyone, for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So now for time for any corrections, reflections, realizations, questions. So if
Hare
there's
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a wonderful class. Ananda says is mentioned is a supreme person of God himself. So is it simultaneously person and also Ananda says the noun?
It's an interesting question. So I was thinking about that as well. So Anantashesh is a personality. He's certainly a personality that appears as the snake. And that is what I understand. If there's somebody else that knows more, if they can share that, please. So it is said that he is Sankarshan. His other name is Sankarshan.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Also, I like your analogy of the patient and the doctor and the hospital.
That's from
And-
that book I was saying, Journey of Self-Discovery.
Yeah, I'm also reading that book.
We
But
will.
when the patient goes to a doctor and there's a specialist doctor and give a prescription, but if the patient doesn't take the medication as prescribed, then he won't be cured. And I think that part is missing in that analogy.
So yeah, and that's a very good point because, the medicine is being given out, devotees going on Harinam, book distribution, prasadam distribution. So much mercy is being given out, right? But some take to it and some don't take to it. Some are favorable and some are unfavorable. But it's our free will that stops us from taking to it. So yes, if the medicine is taken, then the cure will happen. Yeah. So nice point, Prabhu. Yes.
Anybody?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for the very nice class and giving various incidents and explaining the inherent points that service to the Lord is so important for human life, and Lord is looking for us to respond. I mean, to understand the opportunity given to us in this human form of life. And if we misuse it, and it is only we can make ourselves responsible and no one else, because all the facility has been given to us. And Lord is also in the form of devotees. He has presented us our spiritual master and give us all other opportunities. But if we fail to realize, and as Nanda Vijay Prabhu was telling, it is for the patient. When the prescription is given, he should follow it as instructed by the specialized doctor. But if one doesn't follow the instruction of the spiritual master, and who else can be held responsible other than himself? So it is for us to take the responsibility and respond to the instruction given by the spiritual master, because that is if we do, rather, if we follow the instruction of a spiritual master, heart and soul, and consider it as the only things to live in this material in this world, then we can free ourselves from this from the and the what do you say the wildfire of material existence, and escape from this place. And so it is our duty to do that, and we have to take the responsibility. And particularly in ISKCON, it has given us so much facilities. We should utilize it for ours to make our life successful. So thank you very much, Mataji, for your nice class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for those lovely points, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much, especially your wonderful those episodes you shared from Ramayana and also Bhagavatamrita. They were very, 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 very inspiring and touching. So that seems to be the only hope. The Lord is more eager to have us back rather than rather than we. So the Lord's eagerness is probably our only hope, I think.
Yes, absolutely. So we are so dependent on the Lord. We so dependent on mercy.
Correct.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for that.
Correct. And another thing struck me was people, like especially in the modern world, they constantly they ask about freedom of religion. We want the freedom of religion, like freedom to practice what we want. But I think the Lord is actually giving us the ultimate freedom of religion, or
Yes.
freedom to practice. He's giving us unlimited, ananta opportunities.
Yes.
Endless opportunities, life after life, creation of one universe after one universe. He's giving us so many unlimited opportunities. He is giving us the ultimate freedom, I suppose. Yeah.
That is so good. Yes. So, even when you look at regulative principles, and if somebody hears this, somebody who is not practicing, and they go, that is so restricting, there's no freedom in this. But they're not realizing that that is what is going to give us the freedom from this material world. This is going to give us that ultimate freedom, as you're speaking of.
Yes.
So it's just a small, sacrifice for a bigger outcome as such. And you know that now when we are practicing it, the regulative principles is just part of our life. It's not a sacrifice at all, right? It's actually good. We're enjoying it. So that's what eventually happens. So yes, we are looking for that ultimate freedom, and not for the petty freedom that is offered in this material world. Yeah. So very nice, Prabhu. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
One of the points that really struck me while you were reading Srila Prabhupada Amitra, the initial stages, the devotees sacrifice so much under such difficult conditions. And Bhavananda Prabhu was saying that just going from the temple to the ashram, it was so muddy.
Yeah.
And the latrines were very, 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 very basic. In spite of that, they just followed the spiritual master order, and they carried out all these duties without any question. And there was so much sacrifice. So we are very fortunate to, to have these facilities now. If you go to Mayapur, all air-conditioned rooms and so much. But initially, the devotees really sacrificed their whole life to put us to build a temple, being to this stage. So I think we should be very, very ever grateful to their sacrifice. Also here in Auckland, this book written by Madhuri Mataji, Let There Be a Temple, similar sacrifices were made by the pioneering devotees. They were saying there was only one shower, and it was so cold, there was no heating. And the ladies who had to go and have wash their hair in the freezing water, it was next to impossible, but they just did it. So we are also beneficiary of their sacrifice, and we are very grateful to their sacrifice to bring us to this stage. Just my appreciation of their sacrifice.
Yeah, and that is so good, Prabhuji, because I think when we appreciate, then we'll accept it a lot better. And knowing how the earlier devotees sacrificed so much, and how much Srila Prabhupada has sacrificed to give us what we have. In the whole scheme of things, we have it quite easy. Even my Guru Maharaj was speaking about how they had showers, in cold water, like you had mentioned earlier too, Prabhu. And the only warmth they would have was when they were taking arati. That was the only warmth they could feel. Otherwise, it was very, very cold. Yeah. So yes, we are deeply, grateful for what the earlier devotees and Srila Prabhupada has given us, because they are making it easier for us. I mean, we really don't have the difficulties that they had been through. Yeah. So thank you for that, Prabhu. Yeah. Okay, so if there's nothing else, we can stop there for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and thank you for your attention and your participation. It's been really lovely. So have a lovely day. Enjoy your long weekend.
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Ananta-koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Grace Saradiya Devi Mataji ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol.
All glorious to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Jai.